Aloha. Thank you. Many, many, many mahalos for joining Jaguar Power Astrology, tuning in. This is the Honu Flow, where we look at the strongest celestial transits and currents so we can ride the waves of the cosmic ocean in love, ease, and grace. I'm Kinu Gabriel, Kinu Diggett. And let's go ahead and get started. So very, very interesting. One interesting point of confusion, somewhat outside of this reading, is that right now we're going through 2 Virgo new moons in astrology, but really it's that we're going through this very interesting reset where after this new moon, every new moon will technically be on the 0-degree point of the next sign. So some people are saying that the new moon is happening at the very end of Virgo, this next new moon, and then in Libra and so forth. But according to the most accurate calculations, it's happening on 0 point Libra, 0 point Scorpio, 0 point Sagittarius, and we are going through like a big reset right now. And so this is like the last new moon before this sort of major reset happening on the Virgo Libra cusp, where the Arcturus star is, where we sort of calculate near Spica and Arcturus the sort of center of the zodiac as it is in the sidereal calendar, where Ashwini in Aries starts the beginning, and Spica / Arcturus in Libra, Virgo Libra, sort of spark the middle point or the opposite end of Ashwini in Aries. So this is a very, very interesting time right now. Moon, Sun, 2 degrees together with Mercury hanging out 24 degrees in Chitra. Different nakshatra, Sun and Moon are in Tara Phaguni. Tara Phaguni is all about marriage, and the where Pura Phaguni earlier in Leo is about the courtship of the yin and the yang perhaps pursuing the yin in whichever aspect it may come from, whether it's a man or a woman, but the yang energy sort of chasing the yin energy accepting the yang energy, and so forth. And in Buddhism, Leo would be considered Salyatana, which is the 5 senses. So the dualistic 5 senses of a sense faculty and then the object of that sense. And now also in Buddhism, the 6th house will be considered contact. And in Virgo, this first nakshatra, Uttara Falguni, is considered the marriage of consciousness and sensuality, or sense faculties, or senses and their objects. And that marriage creates a bond of contact. And now you have contact between 2 dualistic spheres, consciousness or thought versus material, and the marriage of material and thought. And that's the the basis of the innocence of Virgo, which is the marriage of spirit and matter, and the innocence of being in this life and experiencing the world through the senses. And we haven't really come to Libra, which is, how we feel about it, positive, negative, neutral, mental feelings, spiritual feelings. But definitely we're just at the innocence. And so Virgo is represented, Kanya in Sanskrit, just means sort of innocent or young lady, child, girl. And the picture and feeling and image of Virgo is this innocent young energy, this innocent young girl. So yeah, sun and moon, this is where we're starting, 2 degrees, which is all about cooperation, and it's all about connection. And some of it is about, you could say, compromise, or in this particular case, surrender. And surrendering to the fact that the marriage that we've formed, the contracts that we've created are set in stone. And now we have to abide by them. Now we are bound by our contracts. We had so much time to really, write out the details, think about, hey, should I even be in this contract? Am I winning at all? But now we're in it. And so we have to cooperate and we have to abide by it. Otherwise, we're creating suffering for ourselves and the other entity or thing that we're in contract with. So in a primal way, this is about spirit and material and the balance between both. If you understand or understand the fact of the matter that once you make a contract, which is this sankhara, this sankhata, this manifestation that is a body, mind complex with the senses and so forth. Once you make that manifestation through your actions and your thought energy and your vibrations, now you're born, right? Now we have to surrender to the fact that we're born, surrender to the fact that the marriage already happened. The sperm went to the egg, life turned on, spirit went inside the fertilized egg, the divine spark happened. Now there's a contract. Here it is. Now we have to deal with it. Meaning the rejection energy that we give our life, the rejection energy that we give this result happening here and now, is kind of a lamenting of a contract, right? So, when you think about the right thing or the wrong thing to do to, for a contract, energetic contracts aren't so easy to unbind. If anything, you can't unbind them. Once the karma fruits, that's it. So you kind of have to deal with it for the temporarily lasting length of the contract, the temporary length of the contract. So this would be, we have to respect the fact that there's spirit animating the material, and spirit is attached to the material, right? So spirit is attached to the eyes and the vision, the voice and hearing, the skin and the sensation or the sensory faculty in general, and touch, the tongue and taste, and the nose and smelling, and bringing prana and bringing energy, so that every moment we can keep animating this body, bringing spirit into this body, smoke eating body. So that's the contract. And so we have to respect the mother, right? We have to respect our mother. We have to respect the fact that our mother bore us. We have to respect the fact that the mother earth sustains us. We have to respect the fact that our spirit, which is immaterial, is now animating material, focused, occupied, addicted, attached to material. And we have this marriage now, it's happening. So how can we create the best possible cooperation and co-creation with spirit and matter together? It's already been manifest. The fruit is already dropped. There's nothing to do with it anymore. The contract is already written. We had time to think about it before. Maybe time, whatever you want to think about that. But now here it is. And that's what 2 degrees Virgo is all about. This is the innocence. Here it is. Wow, I can see. Oh my God, this world. I can feel. Look at these things. Now what? Right? So just being here, being now in the innocence of the marriage, of the contract, whatever that may be, we can take a look. So yeah, Uttara Falguni, 2 degrees, marriages, cooperation, not, bringing us into destruction just because we want to reject our contract that is already here and there's nothing really to do. We can't nullify it. Some people attempt to, and that actually, if you cut a contract with someone, you could say prematurely, likely and mostly that creates suffering. There's very, very little situations where you can break a contract with someone and that would result in either a neutral or a positive consequence. Most of the time it results in a negative consequence. And that would be the same for nullifying the contract with the physical birth. Absolutely 100% of the time. In metaphysics, as above, so below, everything works out the same. So not only that, but during this time, the ascendant is also in Virgo. That's very interesting. So a lot of the basis for this 30 days, September 17th to October 16th, I believe, is also in Virgo. The basis of our being is also all about researching information that we don't know or that we want to go deeper into, generating a more positive mind, focusing more on solutions and far less on the problems, having a hyper awareness about the obstacles and the problems that we have, and yet the work being to balance the sort of right balance, having the right kind of balance, depending on what the issue is, what the work is. But the work being to balance out our mind and focusing on the solutions and using the creative spiritual aspects, like I mentioned, to bring in solutions from nowhere, really, and focusing on opportunities and the space that can't yet be seen, the space that isn't yet manifest, to bring in opportunity, to bring in solutions, creative solutions, for the very apparent problems that are right in front of our face. And so that's what this next 30 days is really all about, where the Virgo wants to flip and have 80 to 90% of the focus be on the problems and 10% be on the solutions, whereas the balanced way is somewhere on the opposite, where 20% is focused on the problems, 80% is focused on the solutions, right? We want to be clear about the problem and what it is, because if we just go la 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 and we're in Pisces land and tra la la land, we're in what is it? I can't remember the blue mushroom people. We're in some sort of Care Bear land where there's not a lot of worries and we're not really thinking about the real. Yeah, that's great. And also, you can't necessarily be in there all the time. We have to think about, okay, well, what are the obstacles? They're there. But we also can't focus and give all of our energy and attention on the obstacles, because then we'll just be creating more for ourselves, right? Because what we give attention to is what we create, or sort of what we give power to. Where we give our attention is where we give power. There's a great formula, and it goes like this. Intention is what directs attention. attention is what directs our willpower. Willpower is what directs our thoughts. Thoughts are what direct our emotion. Emotion is what directs our actions. Actions is what directs our intention. So it goes into a full circle. And so that's why we want to create, again, kind of a balance between being in Tra La La Land and seeing, oh my God, look at our blah, blah, blah. Look at our rulers. Look at our leaders. Look at all these people eating babies. Look at all these people trafficking children. Look at all these people doing these things. Look at the fact that I don't have rent. Look at the fact that, oh my God, I can't even leave my house. What's going on? Obstacles, right? So 20% obstacles, maybe 40%, depends on, I guess, how much of a skeptic you are. But probably the majority of the focus should be on the solutions, and only just enough focus and energy should be on like what the actual problem is. It's in Virgo, the problems are glaring. So, I mean, in all honesty, we don't really need to spend that much time focusing on the problems. We just need to spend less time checking out of the problems and being in video games and TV and all these different, avenues of checkout stations and checkout channels and distractions, because we don't want to feel the painful contact of our contract. So that's the deal. 80-20 the right way, not the wrong way. And now we have Virgo. Virgo's here given the light. So, Virgo, and especially too, because Virgo's 24 degrees in Virgo and Chitra. This is really all about coming into balance. And 24 degrees Virgo is saying, well, let's have harmony. Let's have beauty. Let's have balance. Let's have a refined sense of work. Let's cooperate with each other based on our past mistakes, based on recognizing our past mistakes, recognizing our past failures, recognizing what doesn't work, recognizing old paradigms, old situations that do not need to be here anymore. Recognize the things of the past that did work, recognizing past tools that worked. Food forests that we've known about for 2,000 plus years, sustainable agriculture. Somehow we got rid of it. I have no clue why. We're not using it now. Recognizing the things of the past that work, the patterns of the past that work, the righteous characteristics that we've created, the righteous habits, the morals that we've gained, the wisdom that we've gained. Recognize the things of the past that worked. Recognize the things of the past that did not work. And cooperating with this knowledge, cooperating with this wisdom to bring balance and harmony into our lives and the lives of others. That's 24 degrees Mercury. So Mercury is just legit right now. Mercury is like, look, we know what's going on. We've seen the disaster in our life and in the world at large by using these super antiquated principles that are not even in their original sphere of context, and they're completely warped from their original meaning in the first place. So let's do something about that. Let's take what worked and let's cut what doesn't, and refine the energy and bring it forth into a new, advanced, elevated, artistic, beautiful expression, something that is new, something that is needed, actually useful, right? So that's what Mercury is saying. I mean, and this is powerful. Mercury, Sun, Moon, and the Ascendant, which is, it changes by the hour, but and for these particular calculations, I'm using the Sri Yukteswar. Ainamsa, which is the most accurate that I can think of. It's still the same ascendant in true Lahiri as well, with Chitra being the center. And yeah, I mean, wow, this is stellium with the ascendant in Virgo. Great placement. So let's talk about the next 3 months and see what happens. But just looking at that, the moon, sun, and ascendant all in the same place. Man, just giving a lot of energy to Virgo. It's gonna be a little bit longer reading, but it's all good because we want to look at the most powerful transits, and all the energy is here in Virgo. So let's take a look at some of the other planets, and we could take a look at the context of all this that we talked about before. So one thing is about the mother for sure, and respecting the fact that, like I mentioned in previous Honu Flows, we do need to really reevaluate how we're looking at our contract with Mother Earth, and how we're looking at our contract with the material world as it is in the first place. What metaphysics and physics are we believing? What metaphysics and physics are we learning about, and are we actually living by? What metaphysics and physics do we have wisdom about? And how can we gain and expand that sphere of wisdom in how we're interacting with the material world, with one another, and Mother Earth, Pachamama, Gaia, whatever Greek or African or South American or whatever word you want to use, Tiamat, whatever. What is our contract? Can we expand our contract? How can we create more harmony and agreements inside of the contract that we have with Mother Earth, which is very simple, right? Be moral, don't be immoral. Treat life with life-affirming energy. Don't treat life with destructive energy. Destroy things that need to be destroyed. Grow things that need to be grown for happiness, right? Because needs, when we say need, what is a need? A need is, I need A, B, C, D, infinite thing to not suffer. And to the degree that we're addicted to material reality, to the degree that we have ignorance, greed, and hatred in our minds, is how many needs we have, how much capacity of a need is inside of our being, how big our needs are. Really needy people have a lot of greed and attachment to the material world. It is what it is. That's how it works. Really non-needy people have a lot of non-greed and non-hatred and non-attachment to the world. And, they don't even need to look like monks either. They could be super wealthy, rich people and have absolutely no attachment to this world. They don't really have a lot of needs. So it's not about how it looks either. It's all about the mind and what's inside. And so this is about really honing in on the righteous principles of our mother and respecting our mother, whether it's our physical mother who bore us out of the egg that came from her womb. People don't often think about the fact that we come from eggs, and that can be disputed, but it's the truth. And we don't think about our mother, we don't think about the physical mother. So it's just getting really clear on what are the principles, what are the physics, what are the metaphysics, and how can I expand these things to actually live in wisdom, and have abundance, and be able to get the things that I need, and also live righteously. And maybe not be so reliant on the government, maybe not be so reliant on just letting the father take care of everything and letting the father work and just being this innocent thing that doesn't know anything and doesn't really think about I don't think about how I get my food. I don't think about how I get my air. I don't think about how I get my prana. I don't think about how I get my eyesight, how any of my life is sustained at all. I don't think about it, not one bit. I'm just letting the mother take care of things, which is, again, is 2 degrees, sun, moon, and Virgo, just letting the mother take care of things. I'm completely innocent. I don't really know anything. And maybe connecting with this wisdom area of ourselves. You know, interestingly enough, I think Saturn is 2 degrees as well. Yeah, Saturn retrograde 2 degrees as well. And really reevaluating how we've been just completely just moon unconscious, subconsciously just relying on the father Saturn, and relying on just time and space and this unknown dark area of our life, and not thinking about how we get anything or do anything at all, and just living our life and wanting to just collect what we need to sustain our comfort and our ability to live, and that's it. And like, that's where we've been, right? And that's the place to move away from 111%. Actually awakening to the truth. People, it's so funny, we have all these QAnon people and blah blah blah. People awakening to the truth, it's like they go from innocent to like 100, and they get overloaded. Like, they don't even, oh, what, like Nietzsche and Marxism, and you mean writing isn't a natural thing? Not everyone writes, and there's psychicness, spiritual, what, evil people? Like, and it's so mind-boggling. Diamonds aren't real. There's a, you mean there's fake circulations everywhere? Clothes aren't really worth anything. All of these things. You mean organic isn't organic? Like, all these different things. We're like just waking up out of this like stupor about how we get things and how the world works. And it's almost like the cognitive dissonance that is just out there is so huge. It's like collective cognitive dissonance. And then we just accept whatever. If anyone speaks with confidence, we're just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like a good idea. Because we just want the truth. And especially now that Rahu is getting out. Rahu is still in this moon cycle. Rahu is still in Gemini, but I believe the next moon cycle, I'm not going to go into it because I'm on a train here, but I believe the next moon cycle, Rahu is going into Taurus, and our brains are just overloaded at this point, and we're just ready to relax the mind. So like, at this point in the next month or two, whenever Rahu goes into Taurus, like, we're, the info war is going to be over, and most people are just going to be stuck wherever they're stuck. And for those of us who have learned that the right view is a view that is not attached and not so black and white, and we can expand, then we'll continue to expand our mind. But for the most part, this rigmarole of the mind and thoughts and ideals, and which ideal to attach to, and which ideal to make a belief out of, and which ideal is the right metaphysics, and all this stuff, that's going to be receding into a more stable place. And I kind of wonder what that wind to earth break will be. We'll see what happens on that front. But for now, we're still thinking about it and we're still there. And it's the winding down of that. And so all this stuff to say that really, it's definitely, getting our core principles aligned, getting what the real truth is, what the real metaphysics is, what the real physics is, how the world really works, not relying on the Father to take care of us, relying on our own soul, relying on who we are, what we are, and our purpose to drive us forth, and connect with the source, and connect with God, and connect with our interdependence with the cosmos to get what we need, and not be so worried about all of these kind of mental concepts of need and not need, and myself, and my self-cherishing, and all this stuff, and really see the bigger picture, and really see how we're all interconnected, and really understand how we owe our mother in any dimension you want to feel or think of, for everything. And so the idea is, you can't hate her, and you can't get attached to her either. The only thing we can do, thank you, Ram Dass, is to respect and honor her. That's the only thing we can do. It's the only thing to do. There's nothing else. Once you understand that the only thing to do is to respect and honor her, that's it. The train just kind of cycles on from there. So anyway, Saturn retrograde 2 degrees lined up with the sun and the moon. That's kind of intense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, respect our mothers, and not just rely on people to have a sense of duty and responsibility for ourselves in the world, and ultimately complete our mission. Once we know why we're here, we can complete our mission. So, and speaking of knowing why we're here, Mars retrograde is still Uranus, 4 degrees Ashwini, charging forth. I think it would behoove us to make a plan to get rid of our addictions. What time are we? I got a perfect time. This is going to go to the hour for sure. It would behoove us to make a plan to get rid of our addictions. Yep. Yep. It would behoove us to make a plan. It would behoove us to really see that overcoming our addictions is about working with our cravings and not succumbing to the craving for having our comfort and having everything taken care of us and having money in the bank and having everything just being la 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 la, right? Being completely addicted to any kind of work that we need to do, any kind of creative endeavor that we need to do, being totally averse to actually creating a solution, and being completely addicted and having such a strong continual craving every single day to just have the money, have the job, have the security, and then just chill, play the games, watch the TV, watch the Netflix. Everything's taken care of. Everything is all right. Daddy's got it all taken care of. I'm safe because the government is taking care of us. I think there's this show that I was being told about the other day right now, something called, I don't know, the social dilemma or the community dilemma or something like that. And the essence of their solution is give all your power to the government so that we can control AI and social media. And the government needs to regulate things. That's the conclusion. Perhaps you could make a more intelligent analysis of this particular show. This is just hearsay from what I'm hearing and feeling. And from what I understand, the majority conclusion about this show is that give government your power. Of course, because I'm probably on a major network or something like that. Maybe it's on Netflix, and Netflix is ruled by a bunch of demons anyway. So the fact is, this is what we're addicted to. We're addicted to the second house. We're addicted to having comfort, having the bank, having everything taken care of. And what we need to do is curb those cravings by having an active sense of responsibility and duty to the interconnectedness of Mother Earth and the cosmos and us and everyone else and all sentient beings, and working in and having a plan to getting rid of our addictions, having a plan on what we're going to do to give, to fulfill our mission in the world, to expand our principles in our daily life, to respect our mother, to respect Mother Nature more than we are right now, more than just, oh, I do this or I do that, more than just an egoic sense of I do, so everything's fine, but making it active and expanding that activity more and more and greater, because there's always room for expansion. So making a plan, writing it down, writing down with our cohorts, cooperating with other people, and making a plan together, even making a plan based on what didn't work in the past and what did work in the past, and bringing that to the forefront now, and cutting away the old paradigms and cutting away the negative from the old paradigms, cutting away the old negative paradigms, the old negative patterns, and bringing a sense of fruitfulness and bringing a sense of newness and creative spark to what our life is going to be like, so that we can live in a place that isn't in fear, and that we can just be courageous and just live our life and go and do our work. And so that's kind of what Mars in Aries is talking about, retrograde. 8th house from Virgo. Making sure that we have the courage to create the solutions. Not being necessarily worried about having everything taken care of, knowing the future and all that kind of thing. And really just, this is the work, this is what I need to do. And again, what is a need? A need is what we need to not suffer. And also a need is what we need for happiness. And people confuse the two, because the need to not suffer is to get rid of our cravings. That's what we need to not suffer, to get rid of our cravings. We don't need to fulfill our cravings and addictions, because that's not going to make us not suffer. Right? What do we need to not suffer? We need to, I don't want to be near this thing that I hate. I want to be near this thing that I love. That's just feeding your addiction and suffering even more. Right? What do we need for happiness? We need calm. We need source. We need spirituality. We need a right contract between the spirit and the material world. We need to respect the mother. We need to respect the material world, other people, other sentient beings. Come to a better agreement with others, come to better communication with others, and create balance and harmony in our relationships. That's what we need, right? Okay, coming to an end here. Yeah, and last but not least, 11th house, Venus, Cancer, 19 degrees. Almost perfect. The thing about us is that we often wrangle this idea between giving and expecting something back in return. And we need to distinguish between the two energies. And we need to stop forcing other people with our power and our strength to demand answers or extract forcefully and aggressively information for people, or get into circumstances and situations in our relationships where we're just completely forcing other people to produce or react how we want them to produce or react. And that's not the right way. The right way is to create space for people and create agreements that are loving and compassionate. So that's the Honu Flow. I would say the very end of this point is to come within source, really understand the balance between spirit and matter, and make the focus of our life right now creating harmonized balance and creating harmonized and balanced agreements, beautiful agreements, creating beauty from our agreements with others, not forcing our agreements, learning better communication, giving space in our relationship to create beautiful agreements, to expand our minds, and really bring a sense of creativity, working with others, support networks, so that we can have all we need and we don't need to rely on just this one entity, and we can work together because it takes a village. So that's the Honu Flow. Hopefully you got value from this. If you did, please like and subscribe, and feel free. There's a donate information as well as other information if you want to get a reading from me. Walk in love and peace in your heart.